All right, and welcome into a new episode of Bleed Orange and Blue, an Illini fan podcast. It is here. March Madness is here. The tournament starts today. We are here, Illini fans. Get to see what this team was built for, which was March. So we get to start off with an old rival, Fran McCaffrey at Penn. His alma mater, he manages to get his team through 2 overtime wins back to back in his conference tournament championship game with a game winning three from a star player who used to be a 5-star recruit. Let's dive into this great matchup, what Illinois looks like ahead, and do we get some revenge throughout the tournament? Here next. All right, again, welcome in, guys. So we're going to dive into this matchup against our old rival, our old battling buddy, Penn McCaffrey, one of Brad Underwood's good pals. We got to play at Penn's arena earlier this season in Philadelphia. Brad got to hang out with Fran, and guess what? We get to hang out with him again and hopefully do what Brad Underwood has done before, and that has beaten Fran 9 out of the last 10 times with a 2-point loss at Iowa, when, of course, Fran McCaffrey was Iowa's head coach. So let's go ahead and dive up into the matchup here. Obviously, the Illini are heavily favorited in this game, but what do we need to watch out for? What does Penn do well that may cause some difficulties? Now, going to break down a little bit of the analytics here and some of the differences between these teams. So the Illini, while highly efficient on offense, you dropped to number 2 in the nation for the first time in I don't know how long. KenPom offensive efficiency in this one. So we're behind Purdue now, which Purdue went and won the Big Ten championship. So hey, you know what? Hats off to them. They deserve to take over that number 1 spot from us. Maybe that will drop a little bit of the noise about our offensive efficiency all the time, and we can focus on playing basketball. Now, Penn, as I said, kind of at the little preview start here, Penn took 2 back-to-back overtime wins to beat their to win out their conference championship in this one and to get in the NCAA tournament. They were an 18-win team on the season. So nothing crazy good about this team, aside from one thing, and that's 3-point shooting. They are number 11 in 3-point shooting per KenPom. Obviously, if anyone saw that last second shot that their boy TJ Power, former 5-star recruit, Duke commit, played at Virginia, and Fran McCaffrey had been recruiting him ever since he was a sophomore in high school. So he's been waiting. Fran's been trying to get TJ Power under his reins, and TJ Power went out and dropped a huge 44-point game in that conference championship tournament game. I mean, hats off to him. This is a great 3-point shooting team. We know Fran McCaffrey. We know Fran loves offense. He loves to run. He loves to get up and down the court. He loves to shoot threes. He has coached All-Americans, National Player of the Year with a slower offense. He sped up his offense. He's had lottery picks. He's not a bad coach. Iowa just wasn't probably suited for what he was looking to do. Offense he was looking to run. And Fran just, wore out his welcome there. Just his success kept dropping. Got him back to his alma mater at Penn, and he's done a pretty decent job as a coach there. Obviously, getting his team to the NCAA tournament, not very easy to do in the Ivy, and got a guy that he sought after for the longest time, and TJ Power. Ethan Roberts is also probably their number 1 player in this one. Now, he was out of the conference tournament with an injury, and they still pull off a win. So their role players are definitely stepping up. Ethan is expected to be back and has been in practice as of yesterday. So we are looking at basically a 2-headed demon to worry about with TJ Power and Ethan Roberts, because those guys can shoot. and they will shoot over the top from three all day long. They are great 3-point shooters, while the Illini allow 3-point shooters to shoot over the top and utilize their length to make them uncomfortable, allowing them to have a 35 be 35 excuse me 35th in the nation and deficiency deficiency 35th nationally in KenPom and effective field goal efficiency, and from three they're ranked 44th in the nation. Not great, but not bad, especially because we have seen games where our bigs have had issues closing out on 3-pointers. Obviously, Nebraska racking up some threes against us. UCLA shot really well from three against us as well. So obviously the Illini need to get back to maybe some of our drop coverage, make them force a tough twos and not give them good looks from three. If we made that shift defensively, I think we would do that with no problem in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit of that. I don't know how much zone we'll see in this one. Maybe thrown out there just to throw them off momentarily, but I don't see a lot of zone being an opportunity in this game. Now, with Penn being a great 3-point shooting team, that's about all they have in their bag. Offensively, they're ranked to efficiency on KenPom. Just not a great team otherwise. Not a great shooting team. They can shoot threes, and that's about it. They don't get to the line. They're 174th in the nation, 346th in twos, 2-point percent efficiency. I mean, again, back to our drop coverage, force them to shoot tough twos. We'll win this on a landslide, even if we don't have a good shooting night. 284th in free throw percentage. I mean, this team can only shoot threes, is what it comes down to. They only shoot threes well, and that's about it. So on the defensive side of the ball, they are better than their offense, but they are still 111th in adjusted efficiency for defense. I mean, their average possession length defensively matches up pretty closely to Illinois' average possession length. So we're looking at this one. This is matching up nicely for us. Really, the only way I think Penn has a chance to keep in this game is if their big players, Roberts and Power, both just top off for 30 plus apiece. Obviously, Illinois seen that happen. Not quite these guys' style of play where Illinois has difficulty. Another aspect that the Illini, I think, can really take advantage of is just getting downhill. I think this is honestly 5 guys in this game need to just get after it and get downhill and post up and take advantage of matchups and do all of those things. And that's going to be Merck, of course. Andre needs to get downhill. Keaton needs to get downhill. Oswald needs to get downhill. Because what we have seen out of Boswell is obviously his 3-point shooting hasn't been great this season, better than last year, but we haven't seen quite that comfort. Obviously, he still has a wrap on his hand. Not great for maybe a consistent 3-pointer. I'm not worried about his three. I want to see him get back to that aggressive downhill, get a guy on his hip, use his strength, and force that contact, allowing him to get to the line. Now, there have been games this season where Boswell scored great. The game didn't go our way, such as Alabama, Nebraska early on. So what do we really need to do? I think let Bam get back into the flow of being able to get down and score that way, because we're going to need him, because he did that at a very efficient rate. We're going to need him to get downhill, bang a bit against his guy, get to the line. He was finishing at a high rate on and ones. And then Andre looked good against Wisconsin. I'm not going to say great, but he hit a big three. I know he's not a 3-point shooter. He's not a 3-point threat. He hit a big three in a big moment that we needed one. And he did it with no fear. That's how he needs to play, is no fear, attacking the rim. If he gets open looks and they're good rhythm threes, we've seen him have a 3-point game this season. He can, get in a rhythm and get hitting. So I think, while I don't want to see him shoot a lot of threes, I just want him to get downhill, be in a good rhythm, attack the rim, take advantage of his athleticism against this Penn team that I don't think is going to be able to keep up. I think Andre could have a 30 ball in this one easily. And Keaton. We've seen Keaton still getting downhill, getting guys on his hip, forcing a lot of fouls, even though he doesn't get nearly as many as he should. But what we're not seeing is him hitting threes at a high clip. He was shooting phenomenally up until this last month. Obviously, he banged up his shoulder against UCLA. That's played into it. He's kind of talked about that. His back as well. He shot 1 of 6 in the last game. I think teams have learned kind of where to keep him out of rhythm with some of his threes off the dribble. I've also thought, especially in that last game, there were so many times I thought he was about to do his little pullback three, and he had a big on him. And I thought he was going to start launching those because he looked really in rhythm for them. So what I look for out of Keaton in this one is just shoot in rhythm, shoot like efficient shots, get back to your game. And I'm going to say the person I want to see the most out of in this game, and I think everyone wants to see this out of him deep down inside, is Tomislav. I want Tomislav to eat it up down in the post, then let him get a rhythm three. Let him hit some threes after he gets some confidence going, gets that swagger going a little bit, gets that smile on his face, and lets his brother jazz him up and whatnot. Let Tomislav eat. And if Tommy can't get things going early, then make Merck the mismatch guy. Why not? He's done a great job at it all season. But I think we need to give that to Tommy starting off. Let him get going early. Let him get that confidence. Let him get that swag. Let his brother and all the other Balkans just get him riled up. Get the weight off of his shoulders. Now, for those younger out there, you might not remember this, but I'm going to make a reference here to the 05 Fighting Illini. Obviously went to the national championship, 37-2. Phenomenal team. Any good Illini fan knows that whole lineup, probably at least the starting five, and throw in Jack Ingram as a sixth man because he played major role in us getting the national championship game. But I'm going to bring up D Brown. Now, a lot of people might not remember this, but D went through a really bad slump through the end of the season of Big Ten tournament, to the point where they won the Big Ten tournament and everyone's got their, shirts on that they won, their tournament win shirts. They got hats on. They got, the cut down the nets. D Brown is standing in the back. And if anybody knows about D Brown, he was Illini basketball. He was the Orange Crush's spirit. He was if NIL had been around back then, he would have been one of the highest paid players in all of sports. Not because of just his play, but because of what he brought to the game. He brought the charisma. He brought the energy. He brought that. He would bring the crowd up. I mean, he'd be running down the Orange Crush, slapping hands during the game. I mean, just brought everything. He was the energy of that team. And D went through a bad shooting slump to the point where he's hiding in the back during Dick Vitale interviewing the team. What does Dick Vitale do? Well, Dick, he pulls him up front. He says, no. D, get over here. Get up front. Get up front. And he just tells him, hey, keep playing your game. You're a great player. I know you've been in a slump. You're going to come back. It's going to be fine. Don't be down on yourself. That's what we need to be saying to T. I know you want to complain. He's made defensive laps. There's aspects where he's slow-footed, and that gets frustrating. I get that. And you also get frustrated, seeing 1 of 6 from 3, 1 of 5 from 3, 4 from 3, whatever the stat line may be. Him not crashing the boards enough. If we start him off in the paint, he's going to be there for more boards. If we get him going in the paint where he's shooting, the last I knew was 18th in the nation in 2-point percentage. His brother's number 1, which, Lob City before him is part of that. But Tomi does such a great job of scoring in 2-point land at a very efficient rate. I think we just really need to get some switches going and get him on a matchup. Let him eat. Get him in the flow. Get that confidence going. I know I've been on this one for a moment, but another guy I want to see kind of get his flow going and had been doing some things and had a couple games recently that just wasn't shooting as well. Jake Davis and Benham Rickhouse. Jake has hit some shots that we had quite a few games where it's like he hit 1, 3, maybe 2. I want to see him get back in a good flow and rhythm. I think he isn't afraid to up fake, dribble aside, and shoot again. And he can hit those, but I definitely noticed his percentage drops a lot when he does that, especially when it's not from the corner. I know he's like, I don't know why all these people talk about me in the corner. Bro, you're a great 3-point shooter from the corner. Just say it. Like, cool. I'm great from the corner. Let those be the times that you maybe move a little bit, because there's some times he kind of takes that shot a little bit earlier than he has at other times in the season. Maybe able to get some better passes, maybe even receive the ball back in a better spot, better rotation to get a better look. So I just want to kind of see that efficiency from three come back to Jake, as well as Ben Brickhouse. Ben's effort has been there all season. I'm not going to say at any point been a lockdown defender, but his defense has gotten so much better. His aggression on the boards has gotten so much better. And I would just love to see him go out shooting the ball great. This is his last hurrah for sure. Let him go out like on a hot streak, even if it's only, he's only hitting a couple threes a game or 3 threes a game tops. I would love to see him, go in this stretch in the season, just hitting efficiently. And that goes to say this whole offense to get back to that. Keaton, obviously, shooting slump a bit slash banged up. Tomi, obviously, everything with his shots not dropping for him. Andre being more consistent. So much of this team is phenomenally talented and has so much ability. And it gets back to just having the mindset and being locked in. I loved hearing that Kylan Boswell said, team meeting, players only, come over to my place. And he said, he texted everybody. Everybody showed up. You didn't hear anything about anybody missing. And no one showed or was late or this or that. And he said, we talked things out. If anyone needed to say anything, whatever the case may be, I'm sure someone said something. I'm sure it wasn't all positive, like, hey, we got this mentality. I'm sure some guys were probably like frustrated, hey, like, I feel like X, Y, and Z is going on, or this isn't going right, or I'm getting cut out of X, Y, and Z. That very well is possible. I wouldn't be surprised. But you know what? Art said to Kylan, we should have a team meeting. Kylan said, I've been thinking about it, but just hadn't pulled the trigger because everybody trusts everyone so much. And I think that's been the problem. I'm not going to go chase that board because I know my guys got it. When you got 4 or 5 guys on the floor thinking that, obviously the other team's going to probably end up with the ball. And I think we've seen that in some of these overtime games. Now we've lost, 5 games by a total of 9 points with late game overtime. Think about that. 5. We've lost 8 games all season. 1 rebound or 1 made free throw. In all those games, basically it was what all of them came down to, is not chasing down a rebound and giving up offensive board or not making our free throws. This team could literally be a 3-loss team in all reality. They are that close. And that's why nationwide people are still really high on them. And I know the Illini fan base, I know we're an Illinois fan base, regardless if you're a Illini fan, a Bulls fan, a Cubs fan, a White Sox fan, or a Bears fan. We are hard on our teams. We hold them high accountability because, dang it, like if I had your ability and your talent, I'd go get the job done, or at least I'd be working my tail off to make sure. We have that mentality. We've got that work hard mentality. That's a Midwest, mentality that a lot of us have. We want to see our players exemplify that. And I think that's something, while this team definitely goes hard, I'm not going to, there's been a couple games where I've questioned some effort, but they go hard. They, as Brad has said, complacency. And that all starts mental. That's really all where it is complacency on a mental level, because we can outscore everybody. Well, guess what, guys? If we don't play defense, that's not going to happen. If we don't go grab rebounds, it's not going to happen. If we don't get on the floor, it's not going to happen. Now, these guys have the ability to go win this thing. I do not doubt that. I believe they can keep with every team in the country. And yes, there's teams out there with great guards that are going to beat us off the dribble and all of these things. We saw a stretch, a 12-game win streak, in which this team did so much better defensively. At one point, they were like top 10 efficiency for the start of the year. Now, that team's in there. That dog is in this team. They all got that. That's why they look at Jake Davis. Everyone's like, why are they calling him the team leader? He's saying stuff, or he's at the media. It's because Jake's got that dog in it. Out of everybody on that team. And I think Kylan's got it in him. But Kylan can also, I think, get a little beat down or not be as confident in himself as he should be. He's still only 21 years old. Andre has had his moments this season. He's also had his moments where he's shown what he can do when he puts his mind to it. Tomi, we all know Tomi can go play great ball. I mean, him last year in the tournament, him and Boswell carried us. So, what do I look forward to in this tournament from this team? I look forward to hoping to see that locked in team that we saw with the 12-game win streak. I hope to see that team that went and whooped Northwestern. I hope to see everyone just play up to their ability. But I know there's a lot of questions. I know there's a lot of what ifs in this scenario. All we can hope is that this team hears our love and passion for this program. They hear us cheering them on. And even when we call them out, they take it as a chip on their shoulder and they want to go prove us right, prove us wrong, whatever the case may be, but go win. When it comes down to it, play winning basketball, do all the things, be everyday guys. And I think the team has missed that this season. They have not been everyday guys. Otherwise, I think they'd be walking around with 2 or 3 losses. I think they'd be a number 1 seed right now, and Florida would not. I think they would probably be favored to get to the national championship game by most everybody if they played like everyday guys. Now, I want your guys' thoughts. Good, bad, ugly. Just keep it civil in the comments below. Like this video. Please share it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you more. I've been talking about doing some football things, and I'm sorry my schedule has just been pretty crazy. Going to be out of town this weekend. Honestly, I'm going to be like clamoring to get to the TV because I've got tickets for something Thursday night. So I'm packed, but I'm going to be watching that game. I'm going to do a recap as soon as I can on that game. Hopefully, be talking about a wonderful win. I don't doubt I will be talking about a win and hopefully talking about our next opponent, maybe North Carolina, maybe VCU. I could see it be either. Part of me wants it to be North Carolina because we're going to talk about that revenge real quick. I do apologize. I was not wrapped up. Revenge. If we get UNC beat us in the national championship game. We haven't got to see them in the tournament since. We saw them the next year. D. Brown and James Augustine got their personal revenge, but it was not good enough. We need it in the tournament because those refs gave UNC that game. Anybody that watched it knows what I'm talking about. We need that. But also, I think the team needs that. They need to see a UNC. They need to see that other big name team from another conference, and they need to go smack them. They need to bring the hurt, and I think we can do that against UNC. UNC's got talent, but obviously they're without their top 5 projected NBA draft pick, Caleb Wilson being out for the season. And a little bit on Caleb Wilson. I'd love to see him on the Bulls next year. But not only that, we've got opportunity, and I'm going to shout out Robert Rosenthal on this. Listen to him talk, and this could be a great revenge opportunity. I mean, we could potentially see a lot of teams that beat us in the tournament throughout history that kept us from championship runs or more Final Fours. There's potential we could run into UConn, run into Houston, run even into Michigan in the end of things too. Do I want to see Michigan at the end? No. I don't want to risk hearing from Michigan fans for the rest of my life on that one. I'm not going to lie. Well, we got you 3-0 this season and we beat you in the national championship. I don't want to hear that. I don't. If Illinois loses, I hope it's to somebody that's not Michigan or UNC. I mean, I can respect if it's Houston. I can respect if it's Florida. I don't want it to be UConn either. Yeah. Let's say just don't lose to Michigan. Don't lose to UConn. Don't lose to Michigan and UNC. As long as we don't lose to one of those teams or Penn for that fact, I'll be good. I want national championship out of this team. I don't know if we can lock in for the 6 games that we need to in the ways that we need to do that. But I think this team has the potential to do it. They also have the road to do it. I don't know who I'd want to see most in the national championship game. Probably not, again, Michigan, probably Arizona, to be completely honest, and just hope that we have a hot shooting night and, we play good defense against their mid-range games, which we've done pretty solidly this season compared to the drop coverage issues that we had in the past against Kentucky last year. So we've got a lot of opportunities to beat teams that have beat us in the tournament in the past. Again, like, share, subscribe. to this video, drop those comments below. Let's get this going. Let's get a conversation going. If anybody's interested about coming on and maybe talking about what they foresee in this tournament for the Illini, what they see after this game against Penn, or maybe even what we see up in recruiting when the portal gets going, because I've been seeing names dropping. And there's a couple guys that I'm like, yeah, they look like they're potential Illini type of players. Maybe not yet. Maybe I'm wrong. I obviously don't know. I'm not an insider. I'm just a guy who's a fan that loves talking ball. So again, thank you all for checking out the Bleed Orange and Blue Illini Fan Podcast, and hope you all have a great evening. And as always, IL.